Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Sunday afternoon. It is 4 o'clock here in the Eastern time zone, 1 o'clock in the West. And you know how it goes with time zones. But we are every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Mountain, right? We gather as a PDA nation, as a PDA family, as we talk about the week past, the road ahead, and how we build a progressive movement together and keep it going day after day, week after week, year after year. Progressive Democrats of America was founded way back in 2004. I would say we're the leading grassroots political organization, progressive political organization in the country. We bring together grassroots leaders from coast to coast, north to south, east to west, Midwest, Northwest, Southwest, Northeast, Southeast, all over the place. We are working together to build the progressive movement. And if you know a little bit about Progressive Democrats of America, one of the most important events in recent American history happened because Progressive Democrats of America had a vision. Our founder, Tim Carpenter, said, "Hey, Bernie Sanders, let's go out and run for president," way back a few years before the 2016 election. And uh, we made history, right? Bernie 2016, Bernie 2020. When it comes to the moral center of American politics, it's the progressive movement in this moment that has held true to its values. So that's why we gather every Sunday to hang out, get together, and move things forward. My name is Mike Oles. I'm normally not the host. Our fearless leader, executive director of Progressive Democrats of America, is taking a little break this weekend. So hopefully he is getting some relaxation as we head into a Halloween week here in North America. And I'm based in Indianapolis, Indiana. My name is Mike Oles. I'm the chief of staff of Progressive Democrats of America. I've been involved with progressive organizing since I discovered it back in the late 90s in college. And so go IU. I see that, number two in the country right now. But we're not going to, but IU has a serious problem. Indiana University, one of the great universities, has been taken over by the right wing, and there is a power grab where we're losing our academic independence and freedom of speech at one of the great universities right now. So we love our football team, but we hate our administration right now in Indiana. I want to go over to Wisconsin real quick, and I want to introduce my colleague with the Young Progressive Democrats of America. I was once young myself, but I don't qualify for that anymore. William Walter, how's it going?
It's going well, Mike. Listen, age is just a state of mind, right? It's however you look at it, how your energy approaches it. That's what we're trying to get here. We're young at heart, but good to see you all, PDAers. William Walter. I'm with YPDA, and I'm the executive director of our Wisconsin Revolution. Always great to be here. Always great to see everybody, and I get to play John Madden today to Mike's Al Michaels. So
I was gonna
we're
say Pat
excited.
Summerall going way back, but yeah.
Well, maybe age isn't just a number then, but we're always excited to be here. We're always excited to keep pushing the progressive movement forward, especially after the massive successes of No Kings. I was honored to be able to come on the call last week and talk about No Kings Milwaukee. I was one of the lead organizers for that, and the turnout for that was just so fabulous. The energy was palpable. So we're really happy to be here, and we're really happy to keep working
And
together.
William, I got to say this: in Indianapolis, we have a crisis when it comes to voter turnout, engagement, especially when it comes to working class voters. Uh, when I look at the stats, Milwaukee is way ahead of the country in when it comes to turning out our base and our progressive base. So you should give a big shout. We should give a big shout out to our organizers in Wisconsin because they have really led the way. Where a lot of our big cities kind of struggle when it comes to just getting our massive Democratic base out. Wisconsin is trying to save the country by make sure everybody votes. So yeah, I'm sure the No Kings March. We had a massive one in Indianapolis, but I'm sure Milwaukee was on fire.
Well, and Mike, it's not just our progressive base. Obviously, Wisconsin is arguably the definitive 50-50 swing state, and we had those $100 million Supreme Court races these past few years that definitely helped drive turnout. But college campus turnout in Wisconsin, fun little fact for you: we lead the nation every single election cycle in college campus turnout because we have some fabulous organizations dedicated to driving young people to the polls, and they really have put in the work these past few years.
Amazing. And my daughter is going to be a first time voter in 2026. And, if we get our first time voters or high school students to vote at that level too, it is changing. I see a comment here asking if Ro Khanna is going to be on our call today. And we're moving him back a couple weeks. But that's a good memory because we did say today he would be on our call. So good memory to folks who remember that. But we have an amazing guest today, Jeromie Whalen Western Massachusetts. Massachusetts won. Is going to be joining us here in about 10 minutes. And if you want to change the Democratic Party, sometimes you got to cut the head of the snake off and grow new roots. And tonight we're talking about generational change and a chance to get rid of one of our most. If you look up in the dictionary corporate Democrat, you would see Richard Neal, who Jeromie Whalen is running against, a 36-year-old teacher. And so we're going to have him joining us here in about 10 minutes. But but yeah, it's going to be a heck of a call because this is a race that we win. We change the Democratic Party. We are more equipped to defeat fascism and Trump when the Democratic Party is working class based and not corporate based. So we want working class progressive Democrats. We do not want corporate Democrats. So let's as we get going today, again, welcome everybody. Alan Minsky is on vacation. I see him in the chat room a little bit, but we want to give him a little bit of a break today. Mike Olis here, the Chief of Staff of Progressive Democrats of America, and longtime organizer since the 90s, have been with the Bernie world. And before I go to Mike Fox and Donna Smith, I got to say, last night I had the wildest night of my life in a long time. I was in Terre Haute, Indiana. If you know Terre Haute, Indiana, home of Eugene Debs, the greatest, maybe the greatest organizer in American history in humble Terre Haute, Indiana. I was at a house party at his house last night till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And before that, the Eugene Debs Foundation gave a certain senator from Vermont an award, the Eugene Debs Award. So last night I was hanging out with Bernie Sanders, hanging out with AOC was there. This was Terre Haute, Indiana, home to both Eugene Debs and Larry Bird. The Larry Bird Museum is right next door. And it was, Sarah Nelson, one of the greatest labor leaders we have, Mark Dimmenstein, another great labor leader, all there. So last night just had this amazing, intense, progressive experience in all places, Terre Haute, Indiana. So which is on the Illinois-Indiana border, about 2 hours from St. Louis, an hour from Indianapolis. So I see Mark Timbers there about heavy MAGA country. Yeah, and Terre Haute is one of these working class communities. That county normally votes with the presidential race. It's been a predictor of who's going to win the presidential race for a long time, and so but that's changing as MAGA has solidified itself. So, so if you hang on to later in the call, I'm going to hopefully show a video of last night where we're singing "Solidarity Forever" with Sarah Nelson, Bernie Sanders, AOC, and about 1,500 people. So we'll come back to that. But I'm going to kick this over to first Donna Smith, our former executive director, who's based in Colorado, and then Mike Fox. Take it right away from Donna.
Thank you so much, Mike. And I don't want to take much time because I can't wait to get to the congressional candidate. I have to say, I'm probably the old woman on the call right at the moment. And I'm so happy to hear everyone talk about generational change. And I was just talking before the call about how seeing that as part of my mission right now. And I think that many of the people who've been with PDA a long time, certainly many of the old women that I know who are with PDA still, we see it as part of what we need to do, is hand off the reins of this system to people that we trust, who have those ideas that we don't, and know the technology that we don't, and have a vision of the world going forward that we don't yet quite understand. I have to admit that. AI right at the moment, yes, I use ChatGPT, but sometimes, but it's confusing. It's a lot. And I lived through a lot of the transition. So I was blessed to be the executive director in 2016 when Bernie Sanders made his run for president. It was an amazing time for PDA. But the most wonderful and amazing thing about this, and William Walter knows this, is last week when I heard a young progressive Democrats of America leader like William in Milwaukee report on this fabulous No Kings event there, knowing that young Progressive Democrats of America was born in a room in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when the DNC was having its meeting. We decided we had to have a chapter of young Progressive Democrats. How meaningful is it to see William and to see people carrying not only the progressive message that we boomers really have fought for for a generation. We really did. And the tragedy of losing all that we see that's going now. I lived in DC for 5 years. I was a lobbyist for the nurses in DC. I know that our guest knows a lot about the nurses in Massachusetts. I hope, you're becoming very familiar with the Massachusetts Nurses Association, I hope. And I still have reverence. Believe it or not, I still have reverence for the system that gives me the freedoms, but we lost women's rights, took a terrible hit, and they're still taking a terrible hit. And that is, we fought for those rights 50 years ago. So we need all of you, those of you who are younger, we need you to take it from us and carry it forward and do better. It's not that we didn't do what we could, we did. We stopped a war eventually, one at least. And I just am so thrilled. But the other thing that thrills me about this guest, I know he believes in generational change like I do. But I saw that he is a teacher in high school, in a public high school. I have a son who's a music teacher in public school. And I know what that's all about right now. But he teaches journalism. He teaches journalism, right? This man teaches journalism. And I was a small town newspaper editor in Spearfish, South Dakota, the Black Hills Pioneer for many years. People think, that's no big deal. I'll tell you folks, that's where some of the most real journalism happens at the community level. And for the first time in South Dakota, I was reporting on the senator, Tom Daschle, who was the Senate Majority Leader. They had not been writing about him before. And I said, this is ridiculous. We have to report on the system. So I'm so thrilled that this 36-year-old man who believes in freedom of speech, who also, when I clicked on his website, says we must implement Medicare for all. Yes, we must. I'm so thrilled. I'm so thrilled that he's running. And I know that my dear friend Russell Friedman will be introducing him in just a minute. And Russell, I love you. And I'm sorry that we don't get to see each other in person as much anymore or at all. But William Walter, bless you, and keep going, keep fighting, because we need you. Thank you so much.
Great. And after we talk to Jeremy, we're going to go deep on young adult organizing. So stick with us, and then again we'll show the Bernie Sanders videos here at the very end. So let's kick over to Mike Fox. And Mike Fox, what's going down there in Florida today?
Thank you so much, Mike Ollis. I'm going to be really brief because we're infringing upon Jeremie's time here soon. So quickly, number one, what's always our number one to-do, gang? I'm the guy with the to-do list. Number one, revel in the fact that you're surrounded by people who get it. Every Sunday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, we come together as a community, show solidarity with each other, and get things done. You make me healthier just by being here, and I thank you for that. To-do number two, take notes. We're going to be covering a lot of specific actions that we can take here over the next hour, so please make sure you got those handy, and we dive headlong in. Now, from a time and treasure standpoint, time. While we are all about Jeremie on this call, gang, we are going to be focused. We are going to show our support. However, I know that Jeremie knows the competitive environment enough that we got elections in less than a week, gang. Bottom line, everybody's got to be in the game for November 4th, all right? There are states all across the country that are having vital elections, especially in Virginia, especially. So with that in mind, phone bank, phone bank, phone bank, phone bank. Go to pdamerica.org/volunteer. We need at least 20 new people signing up today. If you're already a phone banker, we got a lot of them on this call. Tell us in the chat that you are, and ask people to pile on with you. Help us recruit here, okay? And then lastly, from a treasure standpoint, please do all you can today. We take great pride in the fact that here at PDA, the majority of our work gets done by volunteers. But we got to keep the lights on, and Jeremie's got to keep the lights on as well. So with that being said, back to you, Mike Olis. Actually, I should say, we'll be taking a look at where we're at on our goals at the top of the hour. So stick with us. Back to you, Mike Olis.
Great. Thank you, Mike Fox. If you ever, one of the jokes about Progressive Democrats of America, there's too many darn Mikes. So sorry about that. Mike Olis here, Chief of Staff of Progressive Democrats of America, based in Indianapolis. But we are a national movement, as we've heard from Wisconsin, we've heard from Colorado, we've heard from Florida. But now we're going to go to Western Western Massachusetts, birthplace of the American Revolution. And we're hoping for a generational change type of revolution in the western part of the state here over the next course of the next year. So I'm going to go to one of our great PDA leaders. I want to hand off the mic now to our leader in Massachusetts, Russell Friedman, one of the great original leaders of PDA. Russell, how's it going today in up there in New England, and tell us about what's going on with this big time race.
Well,
and
hi,
everybody. Our special guest.
For the second time this week, it's a pleasure to introduce Jeromie. Jeromie is, this is my opportunity to introduce him to my national PDA family. And like Mike, I'm reveling in the fact that we have a candidate who gets it. Too long, our representative has been a kind of an absentee landlord who won't fix the heating system in January. Neal is the ranking member of Ways and Means, and when he was chair, he had hearings on health care and wouldn't allow mention of single payer. We've delivered letters to him, he won't answer. He raises money from insurance companies and lives a lavish lifestyle, even hiring his son. Jeromie is an active union member, running a grassroots campaign, not taking corporate PAC money. He agrees with our policy agenda and has put together a multi-generational campaign. He's come to our local PDA chapter meetings, spoken at No King rallies, and is serious about spending the next 11 months building a progressive community that will impact national politics. Make no mistake about it, Neal is a very powerful member of Congress. As a potential chair of his committee, will be a real impact if Jeromie can beat him. So I'm proud to call Jeromie my friend, and are planning to spend the next 11 months helping him become the newest member of the squad. So welcome, Jeromie, to PDA.
All right, let's do this. Wonderful to be here. I have I have a great relationship with the Massachusetts chapter, and they've been nothing but generous with their time and their expertise and their motivation here. So I'm just going to dive right into it. But everybody on this call, I appreciate the work that you do. We need it now more than ever. And this is a testament to true change that we desperately need. My name is Jeromie Whalen. I'm running for Massachusetts District 1 over here in Western and Central Massachusetts. And Massachusetts District 1 is pretty interesting. It's 83 municipalities. It's 30% of the land mass of Massachusetts. So you need to be really committed to get anywhere and everywhere in the district to hear what the concerns are. And I was in Southwick, which is the southern part, and it took me 2 hours to get up to Lanesboro, to where Russell is yesterday. But I have that energy, I have that motivation, and to do it right, that's what it takes. I grew up in Belchertown, which is a small town, roughly 15,000 people, by 2 career educators. And that inspired me to become a teacher and be a public servant. I went to UMass for my bachelor's and my master's, and I just finished up my doctorate in mathematics, science, and learning technology. And for the last 11 years, I've been a high school teacher. Like Donna said, I taught journalism, and it was especially rewarding to be within the classroom to show my students not only what it means to thrive academically and develop yourself, but be good people. And that's why it was so hard the day that Trump was first elected in 2016. I remember going into the classroom, and I'm the first lines of defense for a lot of vulnerable populations. My Black and brown students, my LGBTQ plus students. I had to stare them in the face and say, listen, I want to apologize on behalf of adults for framing the world like this. because this is not how people should be treating each other. This is not how the discourse in this country should be going, but I'm here. We're going to work hard. I love you. I appreciate you. And we're going to get through this together. And it, for the most part, got through to them. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, how the hell do we get into this situation? And who the hell allowed this to happen? But I was in my mid to late 20s at the time. I was working on my academic studies. I thought that the situation could handle itself, and how naive I was, because I found myself in that same situation in 2024. And now we were dealing with basically a psychotic individual who was talking about retribution and revenge. And this scared the hell out of me. But I went to that classroom and I gave that same pep speech thinking that I was going to provide some solace to my students. And I was met with a room of blank stares. And I realized in that moment that my students and all of the previous generations that came before them are desensitized to this. This is their new normal. It's normal to act this way to them. We've shifted the goalposts so far off the field that we're not even playing a game anymore. And so that really impacted me. I said to myself right there, I can't let this happen. And those nagging questions came back. I said, how the hell did we get into this situation? And who allowed this to happen? And it didn't take a lot of searching to find that answer. And it was the failure of leadership because of the corporate infiltration of money into our campaign finance system and the lack of leadership in Massachusetts District 1. My opponent, Richie Neal, is the #1 recipient proportionally in all of Congress for corporate money. We're talking over every single Democrat and over every single Republican. And what do we get from that? He's a ghost in the district. He doesn't show up to anything. He doesn't have the relationships with people. He doesn't listen to their concerns, and often there is no response. We have lions of the Democratic Party right here in Massachusetts. I have an incredible respect for Ayanna Pressley, for Elizabeth Warren. Right next door is Jim McGovern. All of these individuals are standing up in meeting the moment. And I look to my own representation, and I don't see that happening. And so I looked around and I said, who has the courage to stand up in this moment? And no one raised their hand. And so I looked at myself and I said, well, what does representation look like? What should it look like? And it looks like the average everyday folks like us who work hard and who care about their communities and are the public servants, not the politicians. And when I say that, I wear that with a badge of pride, because the relationships that I have are forged on that mutual respect, on the ground level work that we're all doing. And because of that, I'm free from the ties that got us into this situation to begin with. It's a liability to be a politician now. We are seeing the historic lowest approval ratings of Congress, and we are seeing a system that is just absolutely broken. So what can I do? I can come in free of those ties and I can advocate for the true change. And what is that true change? Well, it's taxing billionaires and breaking up the stranglehold that we've seen with this oligarchy. It's for fighting for universal health care and removing that corporate greed from the system that is absolutely broken. It's prioritizing education and looking at things like universal pre-K services, tuition-free community college and vocational schooling. And these are not radical ideas. These are necessary components for a thriving society. I can speak freely on a bold platform of things that really need to be spoken about right now. We need to abolish ICE and get mass individuals out of our communities and protect our immigrant neighbors. We need to both end the genocide and we need to rebuild Gaza in a compassionate way. And we need to look at the amendment that is being pushed forth from Jim McGovern right next door on a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. And these are things that are considered by our current political establishment as too radical. These things are practical. These things are needed right now, and they are needed in order to push us forward together as the Democratic Party and as a nation that takes care of each other. And the other part of this, and I'm sure that you've conceived this now, I want to do that authentically. And I want to do that with a relatability that has been lost in the Democratic Party. So it's time for true representation. The House of Representatives is mirrored off the House of Commons. These common folk coming together to be energized and to fight for the things that we need, and who understand the perspectives from those around them. And how are we going to do that? Well, as Donna mentioned, the generational change that's needed is twofold. One, it's those fresh perspectives, but it's also connecting the generations. When we went to 6 No Kings rallies over the past weekend, and there we saw a lot of awesome positive energy. The crowds typically skew to an older generation who, quite frankly, have been here before and fought from everything from the civil rights movement to the Me Too movement. And we're going to partner with a younger generation of students that I've had in my classroom and in college environments who are a little bit more tech savvy and understand online organizing. That's really important right now. And so connecting both of those is the way that we're going to win this. It's also mobility versus money. Richard Neal has virtually no ground game whatsoever because he has never been put in that position where he needed to do so. And so he relies on his corporate war chest and commercials on television to skate by. We are going to be knocking on doors. We've already started our phone banks, and we are going to do this interpersonally through face-to-face connections and build true relationships with people. And the other part of this is that authenticity of messaging, going back to that. I am passionate about what I do. I'm smart when it comes to being informed on these things, but it's also about reaching audiences and breaking down things. I think that as a teacher, I understand the importance of creating a situation where people don't feel like because they don't know something, that they can't participate or they get defensive about it. We need to break down these issues and really speak to the times at hand in a way that resonates with the average American, and bring back and shift back some of those populations that we have kind of lost or alienated. And so putting all of that together, I think that I'm the right candidate. It's the right time. People are hungry for change. I can see it every single day in the conversations that I have and the standouts that I participate in. And what true representation means in this current moment is people like you all coming together and supporting a grassroots candidate through a grassroots movement. And I appreciate your hard work. I see it every single day. I'm working hard to bring that change to Western Massachusetts and Central Massachusetts. And we're going to do this together. And we're going to do it with smiles on our faces. I think that that's an important part of this too. Every single time I come back from No Kings, regardless of how many times that people say that it's an anti-American, anger movement, I come back and my cheeks hurt from smiling all day. And it's because the love and appreciation that I see through this, that's how we're going to win this. That's how we're going to get through. So we can open it up for some talk, some questions.
Jeremy, just a little bit about your race. This is one of these races that it's corporate Democrat versus grassroots. This is not the first time a progressive challenger has taken on the corporate machine and the blue dog machine. And, just look at some numbers, right? We have, in 2020, Alex Morris ran a pretty good race. There's some dirty tricks that happened. He ends up about 25,000 votes short. And so, and you look at Richie Neal's record, right? His son is involved with some weird lobbying and some weird donations and stuff, right? So, what's the road look like to win this race here right next September, right, in the primary, right? So how do we make up those votes? And who are these people who keep voting for Richie Neal? They just see the TV ads and the mailers, and that's what they go with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love this. I love talking nerdy strategy here. Our win number is 100,000. Richie Neal has relied on the same old white Irish Catholic base for his entire career. That is an aging population. And the stronghold that he's created within Springfield, our major metropolitan area, is they're getting older and he's losing that base. And he's also not done anything to establish the relationships with other communities. I have made tremendous headway in our urban cities around here. And I've done so by going to things and showing up and developing those relationships, as particularly with Black and Brown communities that he's often ignored over the decades. And so our just looking at how we are doing this, we're developing a kind of coalition of individuals who have felt like their voice hasn't been heard. And we're doing so really, like I said, authentically. We're showing up and being visible, which is super important. And we're showing that we care. And so putting all that together, we've also created a coalition of organizations that we're working with, everything from Democratic committees to unions to kind of standout organizations like Indivisible. All of these individuals that are mobilizing, they're seeing what we're doing and they're coming together. And so when the time comes, I think that he's going to be really surprised that he can't rely on just showing ads on the local news.
I love that approach so much, Jeremy. I love to say that 90% of solidarity is just showing up. Great leaders know when to lead. They also know when to listen and when to learn. And it's so, so vital, especially as the next generation of leaders are coming up through the pipeline. We crave, the American voter is desperate for authenticity. That's the one thing I hear more than anything else, both in my work as an organizer and when I ran my own campaign in Wisconsin, is that so many leaders are fake. It just comes off like they're nothing but a face or a name behind a television ad. We want to see our leaders in the community, and you're going out and doing that. I have so much respect for that.
Yeah, thanks. And people, it's resonating with people. I think that it was from a traditional campaign standpoint. One of the things I'll give you a little anecdote. From the top down, we have some national consultants. They said that you need to delete your entire Facebook and start fresh because Richie Neal is going to play dirty just like he always does. And I said, no, I'm not going to delete my Facebook. That has over a decade of me and established relationships and me appreciating individuals and standing up for them within the community. Am I goofy? Absolutely. Am I passionate? Yes. Am I vulnerable at times? You better believe it. And so taking all that and showing that, I'm not just coming out of nowhere. I'm not going to recreate my personality. I'm going to embed that in an authentic way that I've done for my entire career and my entire life. And I'm going to embrace that. I think that that is the thing that was the turn that alienated a lot of the Democratic Party, this intersection between what I consider politics and pop culture, or just kind of the social instances at hand. I think the Republican establishment has hijacked that, has said that there are relatable and that individuals tell it like it is. That's absolute BS. And we need to get back to the idea that we can both be ourselves and also stand up for those things in a really relatable way.
It shows you're human. You have a past. You are a member of this community. You have made mistakes. You've grown with them. I just cannot stand the lab-grown nature of so many modern politicians, where it feels like they just popped out of a government facility one day all of a sudden. They have no history. They have no relationships. Look, I don't care where you work or what industry it is. Every industry is built on who you know, not what you know. And these authentic relationships built over years and years of showing up as you have done, I think that's what's really gonna change the narrative here.
And William, I'm going to just pass the mic to anybody else on our sort of our call team, and then we want to open up. If you would want to ask a question or make a quick comment, we want to try to get through a lot of comments and questions as quickly as possible today. So if you want to raise your hand, Mike Fox will try to unmute you. But yeah,
Mike Ollis, I want to take the first one.
Yes, Mike Fox, take the first question.
Thank you, brother. And my apologies. I've yet to find the way for the host to raise his hand. So I apologize for interrupting there.
Mike Fox, go ahead.
And I'm going to show solidarity with our brothers and sisters who aren't able to share their video. I'm keeping my video off in solidarity. Question, candidate. Can you identify for us either an experience that you had in your, when I say childhood, I'll let you go into college too, in your early years, an experience or possibly just an attitude in your household that brought you to your progressive vision? Can you identify anything like that early on?
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, I see this in my students. When you are in your teens, you are trying to find yourself, and you are being, especially now, bombarded with a lot of different things that you believe that you have to go through because that is what is expected of you. And I grew up Catholic, and to this day I have a lot of principles from Catholicism that I incorporate within my perspective. That being said, one of the things that was a point of divergence from all of that, and I had to find this and self-reflect within myself at, the age of, I think, 13 or 14. Abortion. Abortion was something that, when I looked at the matter at hand, and I looked at, the other part of that is abortion and gay marriage. These two things, growing up in the early 2000s, were things that the Catholic Church was saying that were wrong, essentially. That I was on the wrong side of of religion, on God's wrath, and all of this stuff. And I looked around, and I was also brought up with a best friend who had lesbian parents, and so that was part of my upbringing. And I was looking at this and what I was told versus what I was, what I was seeing. And it came time to have my confirmation. And I said, I cannot do this because I don't necessarily believe I can confirm these principles. And I have a tremendous respect for the Catholic faith. Like I said, it brought me up with a lot of good values, but I had to make a decision at a young age to say, love is not defined by an ideology that is dictated to me. What I feel right now, and what I see that is true love. And what I see individuals experiencing that have to go through this traumatic event in their lives with this, with abortions, this is not something that we should be demonizing these individuals. And so that was something that really stuck out. And it was really hard to rectify that within my own family, within my own kind of communities. But I stuck to my guns. And like I said, it was hard to do. And I try to incorporate a kind of mentorship within my students to think for themselves, to appreciate and value kind of their principles, and not be told what to think, while at the same time understanding where that comes from as well. And I think that we've made great strides in both of those things, but that is something that always sticks with me to this day.
Great. I want to go to, can I go back to back? Because we got about 10 minutes left. I just want to go back to Jim and to Jim Langford, or whatever other leaders in Florida, and then also back to Donna. So if we could just go ask two questions back to back, and then and Jeremy can take it away from there.
Cool.
Yeah, Jeremy, I don't actually have a question. I have more of a comment to make.
Yeah.
I am so impressed, and first of all, I want to say thank you. I am an out gay man who has been with my other half now for 35 years. We just celebrated our 35th anniversary together in
Congratulations.
July.
That's amazing.
And I was on the forefront of the fight for marriage equality, and you have no idea how grateful I am, and others just like me, for people who stand up for our rights. Growing up in the 50s and 60s, it was not an easy thing to do. Even into the 70s, when I became an adult and graduated from college, and then I worked for the Department of Defense for 15 years, and it was very, very hard. And when we have people who are running for office who have the strength of character and the spine to stand up and say things like that, when it does not affect them personally, that says an awful lot to me. And so I just wanted to say thank you very much. I appreciate that from the very bottom of my heart. It's very gratifying. Right now, marginalized communities are on the. It's like they say the cause of all of our problems is economic, but the ones that are suffering the most right now, that are feeling the wrath, are the marginalized communities, the Black people, the Black folks, the brown folks, the LGBTQ community, and immigrants, and the disabled as well. And so even though some of the causes of everything, they pointed at the economic situation, we're the ones that are feeling the wrath right now. And we need folks to stand up like that. And I am so grateful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations on your anniversary. That's really amazing. The other thing, just to comment on that too, is that for years I briefly lived in Santa Cruz, California, and when I was there, I was working doing some media stuff for the Queer Youth Leadership Awards. And the Queer Youth Leadership Awards were a wonderful organization that would have an event that honored the work that young individuals within the LGBTQ plus community were doing. And I had such great relationships that I would fly out every year, basically pro bono, and record the stories of hundreds of youth and LGBTQ plus leaders. And that stuck with me. All of those stories, the dozens and dozens of stories, the triumphs, the challenges, it really bases everything within the human experience and human existence. And I wish and I hope that we can get to that point and embrace that human element, because a part of this is not even politics. A part of this is getting us back to appreciating one another. And sometimes that's reaching across the political spectrum. But if that's what it takes, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to keep on celebrating individuals and meeting them where they're at.
Well, for years it felt like we were making progress. I mean, honestly, I started in the 60s, basically just in demonstrations against the Vietnam War. Then we went through the women's lib situation, and there was Stonewall, and then the Roe v. Wade was passed, and women were given the right to have a credit card in their own name or a bank account in their own name, and we just kept making steps and steps and steps, all in the right direction. And it feels like just in this year we have destroyed all of the progress that we made, and it's terrifying, to be honest with you, that everything that we accomplished over 45 or 50 years of hard work and effort, and demonstrations and legislation and everything, court cases and all of it, it only took like 9 months to shred. And it just absolutely is amazing to me. So thank you for all the work you're doing. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
I'll
Donna,
pass it.
Donna Smith, are you out there?
Yeah,
Are you still have a question? Or
Yes, yeah, I'm here. Thank you so much for the comments that everybody's made. I think I want to make a quick comment to you too, as a female who's worried about reproductive rights, certainly, and body autonomy. Obviously, I want the same control over my body, and I want my daughters and granddaughters, and now great granddaughters, to have that same freedom that we used to have, but we don't. I remember Stephanie Herseth, who was an elected representative in South Dakota for a couple of terms, and she felt very much as you do about your faith and the difficulty in reconciling. And South Dakota is as you know, a very difficult place for a woman to say, I believe in abortion rights. And she would always say, and apparently this word, she would always say, when it ultimately came down to it, I believe that this is the decision is between her woman, her doctor, and her God, not me, not government. And I remember that always would silence the room when people would get, angry or agitated about that issue, that she would just say that. But the one last thing I want to ask you is, what are you doing? Because this, as you know, it's going to be real tough with a guy this powerful. What is your campaign doing to reach into those strongholds, those places where Richie Neal takes it for granted that he's going to win it? What are you doing to break that up a little bit? You don't have to win all of that, but you need to peel off some of it.
Yeah, excellent question. And I think that the biggest surprise that I've seen so far is that when I am everywhere within Springfield and our major metropolitan area, I go to every meeting, every civics association, every candidates forum, every kind of nonprofit function and event, and I've made really true, authentic relationships with people. And the biggest thing that I found was that I didn't get any resistance in this, because he hasn't relied on that development of relationships. Richard Neal is transactional, and we are relational, and that goes really far. The other thing that happened was that the previous election against Alex Morse has really turned him away and made him insular. So he hasn't mentored or educated a young, new generation. So he doesn't have that. Relationship with these individuals who are doing excellent work on the municipal level and excellent work as state reps and senators. And so I'm developing those relationships, and people notice. And when people notice that you're out there, that you're putting in the hard work, that you're doing it in an authentic way, that goes really far when it comes to combating the notion that just because Richard Neal comes with a bunch of money and does a ribbon cutting and then leaves after 10 minutes, is that representation? Or is that a way in which he's saying you owe me something? I think that people are seeing through that now. And I think that that is what we're really doing. We're developing these really authentic relationships. And so we're going to continue to do that. And he's going to be surprised when time comes to kind of stand up for what's going on.
Hey, Jeremy, I was real quick. Sorry, Don. It's 4:45 on the East Coast. Do you have another 15 minutes for us?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I got to get to a Democratic Town Committee in Granville, the lovely Granville, Mass. But
love it.
I
Love
got
it. Out
some
there
time
just
for you, Mike.
hustling the 83 municipalities,
When
right?
is the primary, Mike? When is the primary?
September 1st, 2026. So we got some
You have
time.
lots of time.
Yep.
Good.
And I took a year leave of absence to do this. I've been doing it full time, and I'm taking it really seriously. That's what the moment calls for. And so, I have meetings up until 10 o'clock tonight, and I'll continue to do that because that's what it takes to really truly represent.
Just an easy Sunday afternoon. Just
Yeah, absolutely. No
meetings
days
all
off.
day. Hey, I want to move the mic out to our national audience. So if Mike Fox will help me unmute, let's go to Ramona and Nadia first. Ramona Fishman, are you there?
1 second, Mike. Ramona, boom, you should be able to unmute.
Oh, geez.
There you go, Ramona.
You got it, Ramona. What's going on?
Okay. Well, Jeremy, I admire you so much for being a high school teacher. You influence so many young people, and I just admire teachers anyway. And I wanted to ask you, what can we do in education to motivate our young people to get more involved with the democratic and political process, and get their voices out and help them know that their voices mean a lot and that we want to listen to them?
Excellent question. From the beginning of my campaign, we asked ourselves that, and I asked myself that as an educator, the biggest way to empower a younger generation is to give them and share the responsibility of the burden of what we're doing here. I think that oftentimes there is a perception, and it may just be a perception, but that there is a tokenization of them as youth. And to really understand how to bring them into the fold is to actually listen to them, to bring them into the, I'll give you an example. My communications directors, my co-communications directors are 19 and 20 years old. And they have a wealth of knowledge and expertise. This is not their first rodeo either. They've been organizing online and doing comm stuff, particularly on social media, for 5 to 6 years. And I have a tremendous respect for them. I listen to them. I integrate their ideas into everything that we do for the campaign, and I take them seriously. And I think that there is when you can reach to reach the youth and to actually empower them and to have that responsibility, it's super important. You'd be very surprised at the amount that they are able to accomplish. And tonight I'm on a call with a Young Democrats organization at 9 o'clock, and it's got to be, they have been organizing around the entire state, amassing different high school clubs and activities and doing a tremendous job. So The kind of short answer to that is to truly listen, to take them seriously and give them responsibility in the same way that everyone that empowers them in an authentic way.
Great. Let's go to Heidi. Mike
Hey,
Fox.
Heidi, you should be able to unmute.
Hey, Heidi, how's it going?
Good. Jerome, welcome. I used to live in Massachusetts, so I was blessed to have met. Right, 1 minute limit. First of all, I want to thank you for being a teacher. And I have a career counseling curriculum idea, mindfulness counseling curriculum idea, sipping around, but I'm also concerned about the future of our planet for our young children, for our young folks out there, and I'd like to know what you plan to do about climate change.
Yeah, climate change. Thank you for the question.
Jeremy, just solve it for us. Slap your fingers and let's just solve it, please.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that when it comes to climate change, we have to think about a couple of different things. One, we have to realize that, especially I'm just thinking about Western Massachusetts, it is quite literally right outside our front door. A couple of years ago, I went outside, and the Canadian wildfires, there was the sky was hazy, the air quality index was terrible, and the sky was red, and that is something that we are bracing for, and it's not just some abstract idea. So we need to anchor that within tangible examples and really show that how we are under threat there. The way in which we actually approach it is by endorsing the Green New Deal. Not only is the Green New Deal going to help us fight climate change, but it's also going to stimulate our economy. And our economy, as we've seen, the jobs numbers have been concerning. It's getting longer and longer to find jobs. I don't see it. The way in which economics are working are unsustainable right now. And so if we can reinvigorate our communities and bring union jobs and bring that and spur some economic growth while at the same time saving the only planet that we have, that is a win-win situation. There's other things that are particularly that we should be looking into too, and that's make polluters pay. For those, especially in Western and Central Massachusetts over here, we had an industrialization period in the early 1900s and mid 1900s that the minute that, for instance, GE in Pittsfield, it's one of our metropolitan areas in the Berkshires, the minute that corporate profits could shift to something that was cheaper and easier for the corporation and shareholders, they hightailed it out of our community and then left us with a bunch of pollution that we're still trying to rectify that situation. So make them accountable. Have them pay for the cleanup efforts and have them put money back into our community to be held accountable in ways in which they haven't previously. And so that is something that we can expand to a national scale as well. The kind of pillaging of our land and holding corporations accountable is not exclusive to Western and Central Massachusetts. We can look at that, and we can make sure that we're dealing with the problems at hand, while at the same time bringing money into our local communities.
Hey, Jeremy, have you signed a no fossil fuels pledge? And has Mr. Neal signed that pledge, which I'm doubting.
Richard Neal
I'm doubting
refuses.
no. I'm doubting
Richard Neal
pretty
refuses to
fossil
sign the
funded.
fossil fuels pledge for taking money from corporate execs in the fossil fuels industry. I am 100% on board with signing that. I am zero corporate money, just regardless, but I sure as hell won't be whining and dining corporate execs on Cape Cod for $5,000 a plate. That's not my style. That's not what we need for representation. And that's not what we need to get us out of this situation that we're in right now as well.
Absolutely. Awesome. So Gabrielle, and we got, well, 6 minutes. So let's try to move these. Yeah. Gabrielle and Melissa, you want to head up next?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Jeremy, I want to thank you very quickly for your childhood story. I, as an atheist who was raised in a Catholic household, have, of course, chosen not to be of the faith because I for various reasons, do not believe that it aligns with my values, and likewise respect those who stick with it and try to push for change within the Catholic Church in their communities in order to respect human rights, especially for LGBTQ plus communities throughout the country, because they are some of the ones that are being most attacked right now. And maybe this is something that will be done regardless, but I just wanted to know if the link to your website could be shared so that way we can let folks who might be hesitant to support progressive candidates but curious to see the platform regardless, look at that information, and they can make up their mind whether to support you or not. Thank you for
Yeah,
your
absolutely.
time.
I just popped it into the chat as well. Thanks for reminding me, Gabriel.
And to that point, do we have an Act Blue link live for donations? We normally split our donations with our candidates. I don't know if that's ready or not, so that might not be this meeting. But
Yep, all good.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, so donate and check out the website, because we got to build this movement, and we got to, we cut the head off the corporate Democratic snake. We're gonna do pretty well in 2026. Melissa, how's it going over there in Arizona?
Thank you for having me. It is what it is. What I would like to ask Jerome is two things. First,
Sorry, guys, it's not Jerome, but it's Jeremy, right? So
That's okay. I've got
it's
it my
all good.
entire
It's
life.
all good. Yeah, we're just getting to know each other, but
yeah,
yeah.
it's Melissa. I'm a disabled LGBTQIA plus progressive, and we see what happened with education, and we're seeing what happened with Adelita Grijalva over here, that they're refusing to swear her in. Are you prepared to sue him to swear once you win to swear in?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the last part of that, Melissa. Could you say that one more time?
Are you prepared to do what Adelita Grijalva is doing and sue the hell out of the Republicans in case they don't want to swear you in when you win?
Yeah, I think that I think that right now, any way to hold the current administration and current legislators accountable, we should. That includes impeachment. Richard Neal voted against impeachment. That is a misstep and a failure of leadership. And we need to not only think about ways in which we can at least stave off what's going on with lawsuits, but we need to think about how we can use legislative power to hold individuals accountable. We've done a tremendous job over here with Andrea Campbell, our Attorney General, in suing the Trump administration and trying to push back against things and protecting Massachusetts. We need to start thinking about the solutions on the national stage, and we need to get serious about banding together on things such as impeachment and other means that we can utilize, especially as a kind of minority party. We got to raise hell. We got to raise hell, and any way we can do that, I'm down for.
Great. We got about 2 minutes, 90 seconds left. So let's because Jeremy got to get to a meeting, and we're going to talk to our YPDA progressive movement here at the top of the hour, and plus a special update from Boulder, Colorado. It looks like so we got moving across the country. So let's go to see Don, Catherine, and if we have time, Lois. Go ahead.
Don, you should be able to unmute.
Yes.
Good to have you, Doctor.
Yeah. Mike, you asked earlier about what we experienced in our childhood that made us the progressives that we are today. And I just have to say that I remember FDR in the Second Bill of Rights, wherein he promoted the right to a job, a decent home, medical care, education, and economic security, the exact values that we need today and we don't have. And PDA can bring those to us. That's all I want to say.
Amen. And we're going to do it by getting Jeremy elected September 1st, 2026. But it's going to take a heck of a lot of work to do that. Let's go to Catherine real quick. Thank you, Doctor. Love it.
Yeah, I'm about the same age as Richie Neal, but I say that it's time to pass the torch to someone he's been in there as long as Jeremy's been alive. And it's time to pass the torch to the younger people. I mean, those of us that fought for all this stuff, it's time to bring in the younger people and try to get to improve on, get back what all of us fought for before, and go on from there for the next generations. And so I'm really glad to see him running.
Amen. And look, I think I was with an 84-year-old last night, and he was pretty on fire. His name's Bernie Sanders, 84 years old, and
Right.
you
I
know,
was a delegate for Bernie
love
back
it.
in,
Yeah, yeah.
back
So,
in
so we love our
16.
elders, and we love the people who have made this movement possible, and yet we don't. Yeah, it's great when there can be and we were there with a 36-year-old politician last night, AOC also, right? And they were talking about generational change. Jeremy, I want you to respond to Catherine, but let's go to Lois real quick, and then we'll wrap it up because we're going to be out of time. So Lois, go, and then Jeremy, respond to Catherine and Lois, and just bring us on out how we're going to win this, given we're about 11 months out from where we need to be.
Awesome.
Less than 11 months.
Just responding to Catherine, I think that what it's going to take is true intergenerational movement. And I have a tremendous respect for Bernie Sanders. I have a tremendous respect for the work of Ed Markey, for instance, over here in Massachusetts. It's if you have the energy and the willpower and you're not controlled by corporations, age is a number. And I think that at the same time, you can mentor new generations, just like Bernie Sanders is with AOC and others. I think that we don't have that mentorship in Mass One. In fact, it's kind of defiant over here. It's he rules with kind of an environment of fear, not taking anybody under his wing. And so we're going to do it our way, and we're going to do it inclusive, and that means intergenerationally.
Great. Lois, last question, and then we'll try to answer questions online and get Jeremy your questions. So, Lois.
Yeah, I'm from Jeremy's future district, Massachusetts 001, and
Love
I
it.
have met him at these No Kings events and other types of rallies. He is very likable, very outgoing. My question, as I'm listening to Jeremy talk about how O'Neill does not help us, I'm seriously wondering right now, and it just popped into my head, is O'Neill MAGA? He's not standing up to Trump. So, yeah.
What do you think, Jeremy? I've heard this term called blue MAGA, where the corporate Democrats are just kind of acting that kind of way. But go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Take that
Well,
question.
first off, wonderful seeing you, Lois. This is the thing that I love the most about a grassroots movement. I know, Lois. We've talked multiple times. The way in which you show appreciation within a campaign and get to know actual people when you're actually, working on things together, face to face, and otherwise. Thank you for volunteering on phone banks, Lois. You're amazing. To the point of MAGA, I think it comes back to the idea of how pervasive corporate money is in our political campaign finance system. It is not something that is a Republican or Democrat. It's all of them. And we need to rebuke that idea that this is okay. We need to overturn Citizens United. Jim McGovern, right next door, I have a tremendous respect for him. He is pushing for an amendment to the Constitution. We need to take that seriously because our democracy is at threat because of this corporate money. And that's why we need to do this grassroots style. This is a David and Goliath story, really, when it comes down to it, when it comes to the money. And a lot of people that are working hard right now need to come together, not only in the streets holding signs, but supporting grassroots candidates like myself. 10,000 people giving $10 is $100,000. That goes a hell of a long way in a grassroots campaign. So just kind of rounding it out here. I appreciate everything that you all do. This is what democracy looks like. I see it every single day. I have relations with people like Lois and you all. I'm going to continue. Russell, thank you for holding it down over here in Massachusetts. Mike and Donna, William, Mike, you're doing amazing work. Keep it up. We need that energy. We need that enthusiasm. And that's what's going to get us over the finish line come 2026. Great.
And we're going to have your back. We're going to win this race. And it's going to be, it's going to be one of the most important races in 2026. We're under a year to go, and And anything that we can do to help, let's do it. Let's mobilize PDA Nation in District 1 and across the country to make sure that when September rolls around, this will be the most progressive Congress we've ever had, or at least since maybe FDR was back in there.
This is
thank
an
you, Jeremy.
inflection point in American
Russell,
history.
maybe I'll be able to come to Massachusetts, Russell. You never know.
I got a place for you to stay, Donna.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I'd love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, from August 15th to September 1st, 2026, we're going to have just a big campground in District 1, and we're doing whatever we can to help out. So
imagine that. Fall. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, Jeremy, well, we get on to your next event, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to kick it over to Mike Fox. Mike Fox, can you give us a top of the hour update?
Indeed, I shall, sir. And does that guy rock or what? I'm trying to find my favorite quote. I think the best one was, he's just working 24/7. There are no days off. That's what I'm talking about, brother. All right, my favorite thing to do in the week, the thank yous at the top of the hour. The following people have donated today, and I want to thank Dr. Bill, good to see you, Dr. Bill, and phone banker Dr. Sonneborn, double dipping as always, and Dr. Deutsch in Western Pennsylvania, double dipping as always, and Deborah and Bo in Philly, double dipping, phone banker Bo, and
Bo.
And phone banker Beverly double dipping. Look at all them double dippers. And Joanne and Dr. Deutsch again, he's triple dipping. And Dr.
Triple dipper,
again, he's triple dipping. And phone banker Mary double dipping. And Valerie and Mary Ellen coming on, not only phone banking and double dipping, but coming in as a sustainer for Jeremy's campaign. And Bob, our chapter head out in Missouri, thank you, brother, and Joseph, and phone banker Michael in Ohio, and phone banker Betsy out in California, phone banker Jane, look at all them double dippers, and Michael and Maggie up in New York, and Maxine in Florida, and Mary, phone banker Mary, and my helper getting lists out. Thanks so much for your work, Mary, and Samuel. Excuse me. And oh, look, Dr. Deutsch, a fourth time. That's what I'm talking about, Dr. Deutsch.
Hey, Dr. Deutsch, make it 5. Let's go, Dr. Deutsch. Make it 5.
There you go.
I love you, Dr.
Lucky
Deutsch.
5. All right. And Neil and C. Arthur and Dr. Sonneborn again. And thanks, everybody. So
awesome. Look, PDA is truly grassroots fun to hear Jeremy talking about no corporation, no fossil fuel money. PDA, we are grassroots funded to the max. So we are, every dollar, every donation, every double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip makes a huge difference. So love you all for donating like that, helping us out, building this movement together.
Indeed. And let me finish.
You're going still? Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm still going, man. We still got even better news.
Okay, well, keep it going. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah, we're 7 short on our goal for phone bankers. Okay, so the 2 links, gang. If you don't see what we're dropping in the chat, go to pdamerican.org and hit either donate or volunteer or both. And when we get into family time, we'll dive headlong into where we're at on all these goals. Back to you, Michaelos.
Great. Hey, we're going to go to PDA, YPDA, and William Walters just a second. But during the call, one of our members in Boulder, Colorado, Moji, reached out and said, hey, we have, and I wasn't even thinking about this, right? We're a week away on Tuesday from some great elections, local elections across the country, and a couple state elections. And Moji, in Boulder, Colorado, you say there's a big progressive possibility for the Boulder City Council. So we got a lot of love in Colorado. And Moji, do you just want to hop in here real quick and talk, about 2 minutes about what's going on? Are you there, Moji? Can we unmute Moji?
No, he's not co-hosted yet. All right. Moji, let me find you, Moji. Raise your hand, Moji. It's easier to find you that way. There's Moji. Boom, boom. Yep, now it's gone to another spot in the interface. 1 second, okay. Moji, coming. Boom, there you go, Moji. You should be able to
live TV here. So, okay, take it away, Boulder, Colorado.
Hello, thank you. And I have only 2 minutes. Oh my God.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Yeah, what's going on?
Okay, Aaron Stone is a wonderful man who is running for city council. The election is on November 4th, and I am trying to get this man elected because he has said what happened in Gaza is a genocide. And then I began learning about his positions. Among them is his interest in a municipalization of our electricity, which is owned by a greedy corporation that is funding the election of a bunch of other city council the elected city council persons, and this city council has not endorsed a ceasefire in the genocide. And we have tried. I have spoken in the several of their public comments, and so Aaron Stone is a wonderful, Mamdani in training. And so if you open the chat, I will send, we have a gathering on November 1st, which is also on Zoom. If you open or send what I sent to you guys in the private chat, if you just spread the word so that people in Colorado, in this district, can come out and vote for this man and get at least one of the our corporate funded city council members out. Thank you.
Love it. Aaron Stone. So yeah, let's follow up. We'll talk more a little bit later, but that is amazing. Yeah, city council elections. Mandani in New York City over to Boulder, right? We're gonna hopefully get some great folks elected here in about 9 days. So can't wait. And the power grid right now is under siege by private investors and private equity companies. That's an amazing issue that we're working on here in Indianapolis also. So let's think about Boulder and once the chat opens, let's put that in the chat room. Hey William, how's it going over there in Wisconsin? Haven't heard from you in a minute. Let's talk about young progressive Democrats.
I am always, always, always excited to talk about young progressive Democrats, Mike. It's hearing from Jeromie, the way he spoke to youth engagement really resonated with me because I am a youth organizer by trade. I have been doing this for years. Fun fact, actually, Mike and I go way back even before our PDA days because we were organizing around Bernie-centric issues here in the Midwest. And the more I've gotten involved with and spoken with young people, the more I have felt that they do not get the credit that they deserve. Young people are significantly more intuitive than they're often recognized as. They understand these issues. They just don't fit neatly into let's call it the more traditional two-party system that the United States has long relied on. They don't necessarily see party alignment as their driving force. They care about these specific issues. They care about healthcare. They care about putting a roof over their head, food on their table. They care about their friends getting an education and not being trapped into cyclical debt for the rest of their life. However, they don't know how to get their foot in the door. And that's what YPDA is really trying to change here. We're trying to offer an avenue for these young people to not just learn about the electoral systems around them, but to get engaged, to get informed, to get involved, and to start making the kind of tangible change in their communities that will see a positive impact, not just on their lives, but their friends' lives and the lives of those in their community. So I'm incredibly excited to introduce Kendall Lavinia, who is not just a dear friend of mine, but one of my fellow leaders here with Young Progressive Democrats of America, to discuss how we plan to extend our reach and how we plan to grow, because we are going to need all the help of all of you here in this call. You are all leaders in your community, and I know you all know young people who want to get involved and get engaged, but perhaps aren't aware of how to start, where to first get that foot in the door, as I mentioned. So, Kendall, thank you for being here today, and I'd like to give you the floor.
All right. Thank you, Will. I am so happy to be here with you all, and I want to thank you all for being here as well, and choosing to be here on your Sunday. There's a lot of other things you could be doing, a lot of football to be watching, but you chose to be here talking about building progressive power with everybody here on this call, and I thank you for doing that. And as Will said, I am also here talking about young progressive Democrats of America, and it feels very fitting that a lot of the conversation with Jeromie today was focusing on bridging the gap between the generations in the Democratic Party and really passing the torch of getting some younger, really passionate, solid progressive leaders into offices where they can make some real change for our communities. And that's something that we're trying to be a force with the Young Progressive Democrats of America. So if you're regular on a lot of these town halls, you might have seen me come on, talk with Will, as well as our other friends, Tyler and maybe Hartzell Gray, you might remember as well. And we're really trying to get this off the ground. And that means that we're going to need some help from everybody here on this call. I know that you have a lot of people in your lives, whether they're in some of your state or local PDA chapters, whether they're in your communities, in your churches, in your temples, in your neighborhoods, perhaps even in your family. You know some people who would consider themselves to be a young progressive. And for us, that means really anyone from even as young as college or even very passionate and activated high school students, all the way up through probably about Jeremie's age, probably early to mid 30s is probably the range that we're looking for. And I really resonated during the conversation with Jeromie. I believe it was our friend Ramona who asked a question about how can we in education and how can we get young people who have the passion, how can we get them activated? And I think one of the biggest obstacles that they face or the biggest hindrance that they have in getting really involved and activated is not knowing exactly where they can plug in and not knowing exactly where there's a fit for them and for their skills to be of use. And so it ends up with, more conversations in their smaller circles. And we want to do that by creating a place, an organization, much like PDA, but in partnership with PDA for these conversations to expand to their state, to nationally, and eventually maybe beyond that. But we need you to help us with that. And so I want to challenge you on this call today, if you can, think of a couple names. They could be people you know personally. They could be people that you know of in your state legislatures or somebody that you've seen as a community leader, but somebody you think could be a great fit to start building this organization out and to building chapters in all corners of this country. So we want to know these names. We want to either know who they are or maybe we want to hear from them. So I'm going to drop in the chat here a couple of emails that you can reach out to, either pass these emails on to somebody that you know, or just drop their name in our email and we can find a way to reach out to them. But that is really the first step that we're going to take, is creating a base that we can really start growing roots of this so that we can find people to be champions for this organization all across the country. So I hope that you will talk to people that you know, see who might be interested, and help us really build something that could take off the ground here.
Thanks, Kendall. And it's cliche, but many hands make light work, right? We all have these personal relationships. If we are going to, the only advantage that we can leverage against the billionaires and their allies is our raw numbers. We can outwork them and outorganize them because we're never going to out fundraise them, right? So we have to be able to leverage these personal relationships. We have to be able to get all of these individuals involved, and we have to start offering them something to do so that they feel like they're part of the movement. It's almost granting ownership to the movement by saying, this is what we need from you, this is how we can do it, and this is how we're going to do it together. Once people feel like they're personally indebted to the movement, that's when singular moments of importance become movements. And I'm so excited to continue working on this with you, Kendall. We have such big wins in the past. Those of you who remember Progressive Central that PDA hosted last year, why PDA was a key partner in that endeavor. We had a ton of fun, obviously, but we also were able to have some of the really important conversations that the Democratic Party at the national level weren't really having for that week in Chicago. So thanks for joining us today, Kendall, and I'm going to kick it back to you, Mike.
Oh, Kendall, tell us a little bit about your organizing story and journey. Where are you based out of, and kind of what what are you looking for? My daughter is 17 years old here she actually started a high school group. And would love to connect, I bet, and for progressive politics. And so now where we live in a very purple state representative district that we lost by 70 votes in 2024. And if we just get the high school kids organized, we're going to flip that district. So just by getting the high school kids, first time voters organized. And so, yeah, Kendall, tell us a little bit about, just your background in organizing.
Sure, that's awesome. I would love to connect with your daughter. Send her our way, drop the email, and we will absolutely reach out. Sounds like somebody that we would love to connect with. Yeah, so a little bit about me. I grew up, born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri. So definitely in an area that is has been controlled by conservatives for quite some time. It's a very conservative community, very Christian community, and that was something that I just grew up knowing, but I didn't grow up in a family that was incredibly political, really in either way. So my first introduction to a lot of the issues that got me passionate about politics and organizing was when I was in high school. I joined the policy debate team as a way to improve public speaking confidence, learning about research skills, and it opened up my world to understanding how the world works and understanding how politics works and understanding how governing works. And these are things that I wasn't really being taught in my history classes or my any other classes. So that got me not only interested, but really passionate about how policy shapes the world around us and how we get to shape policy. So that was my first introduction to that. And it actually inspired me to go on and study political science and international affairs in college. And then I ended up during the pandemic moving back to Kansas City, figuring out what my next steps were. And I got plugged in with my local tenant union, KC Tenants, which is also how I got connected with our friend Hartzell Gray, who's running in Kansas City. And we're really excited about that. And we should all be supporting him in that. But that is an amazing organization that is connecting renters and tenants all across the Kansas City metro to understand their rights as tenants, to be able to do collective bargaining against abusive landlords and greedy property developers, and put the power back in the hands of the people to shape the future of renters in Kansas City. So that was really my first introduction into the organizing space and eventually led me to getting connected with PDA. So that's a little bit about my journey. And the things that have gotten me really passionate about being involved with my community. And so if any of that sounds familiar either to you, to anyone that you know, or might resonate and sound like somebody that you're familiar with, we would love to hear from them. So yeah, it's a little
Well, I
bit
see, and being a veteran of the KC Tennis Union, that's really one of the greatest organizing groups right now in the country. So, so yeah, that's an amazing place to really get trained up and learn the beautiful art of organizing. So,
I felt very, very
and tough
fortunate to
art,
be
but
connected with
yes.
them. Yeah, they've had a lot of great wins in Kansas City too, and it's made me feel very proud of my
Yes.
hometown.
Well, what's as a young organizer, when I was young, my first summer I was in Chicago and we defeated the political machine, the daily machine. That was like right off the bat. I'm like, oh, you can win things, you can do stuff. And the next year we got the living wage law passed, and
Yep.
so as a young organizer, getting racking up a couple wins, even if from small to big, it just gets, you're just like, wow, we can really change the world once we
Gets
get
you
this going.
fired up.
So
You want to just keep going with that momentum. You get one win.
yeah, sometimes
Sometimes
sometimes you lose, sometimes things don't turn out, or sometimes campaigns don't get all the way there, but
you dip
you
your
learn
toe
and
in and
grow.
it really lights a fire, and you get something under your belt and you think, okay, yeah, this really is possible. We banding together, people have to listen to us, it can create change. So that was really formative in letting me know that this is a path that I want to pursue, and that there are people out there that want to do it with me.
Well, look, we have about 5 or 6 minutes before we get to middle of the hour. We'll wrap up their call at 90 minutes today. Maybe enter some family time as we call it. But I see, Sam, I see Sam Brewer in North Carolina had his hand raised. Robert in Missouri has his hand raised. I don't know if anybody else, if Mike Fox, if Sam, if you are wanting to make a comment or hop in here, we'd love to hear your voice. And same thing with Robert. And yeah, any questions for William and Kendall?
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can hear you.
I didn't have a direct question. I had another item, if that's all right.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We'll take it away.
All right. So I wasn't able to join for the first part of the meeting. So you guys tell me if you already talked about the Zoom meeting that Congresswoman Delia Ramirez is having tomorrow night. Has that come up already?
It has not.
No, it has not.
All right. Well, I can share a link that you can put in the chat, or I can put it in there. She's one of the featured guests to talk tomorrow night for the National Infrastructure Bank Coalition that has got a bill introduced and has already managed to get several dozen co-sponsors, including several members of our North Carolina delegation signed on, and they're kind of rolling those co-sponsors up. Pretty impressive clip here. So they're going to talk more about that tomorrow night. And like I said, if you want, I can put that link for that meeting in the chat, but they would like
put
as
the
many
link in the
people
chat. And Delia
Yeah.
Ramirez is one of the great members of Congress that is one of our huge allies. So yeah, let's put that in the chat and tomorrow night on Zoom we can hang out with one of the great Chicago members of Congress. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Yep, thanks. Will that chat be opened up for me, or how do I do that?
Yeah, Mike Fox will have to handle those gritty details.
Yeah,
Yes.
hold on a second.
Thanks.
And Mike, if you want to open the chat, I think that's fine to do.
It's open.
Carrie, I see Carrie. I saw Robert.
We got Robert first, then Carrie, then Mimi.
Okay, yeah, William, you take lead on the stack. That'd be great.
All right. There we go. Robert, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you now. Can you hear me okay?
We got you, Robert. Go ahead. You have
All
the floor.
right. Super. A couple of things. One, about what Sam just said. I would jump in there and say, please come to the NIB Zoom with Delia Ramirez. It's Tuesday night, though. It's not Monday night. It's Tuesday evening.
That is a very important distinction, Robert. Thank you.
Yeah. But if he's got the link in there to register for it, it'll come up and it'll be obvious once you follow the link. All right. The other thing is, Kendall, I'm the Phelps County Democratic Committee Chair. I'm also on the state committee for the MDP. I'd like to see you get directly involved with the party. We need people like you. And if you're not there yet, I strongly suggest you look up your local committee and get involved with them. But also, if you want to reach out to me, I can put you in touch with the leaders of our Missouri Democratic Party Progressive Caucus. And also, I'm guessing you're out of college now, but they're really working hard to redevelop the young Democrats in Missouri through the MDP, as well as college Democrats. And I think someone like you could be really helpful to that. And I think it would help us cross-pollinate between PDA and the party directly. Since I know that there are a lot of cooperative things that go on, some of it under the table and some of it out in the open. But I think it's very important. And we have, the vice chair of our party is also the vice chair of the Progressive Caucus. So there's some real interest there.
And we do have a little bit of crossover too, Robert. Just so you know, I was at the Young Dems of America convention earlier this summer. I have attended the last three. I'm pretty involved in Wisconsin's organizing around that, and I do think it's important to kind of bridge this divide. But at the same time, the vast majority of attendees of the Young Dems conference are completely aligned with PDA and why PDA. It's simply leadership at the national level who doesn't seem to care. They unfortunately tokenize young people too often, and it's immensely frustrating. And then young people drop off. Don't even get me started on how many individuals were first-time delegates at this year's convention, which is good in the sense that, more young people want to get involved. Awesome. It's bad in the sense that where are the veterans who have been coming to the conventions before, and why have they determined that that Young Democrats of America is no longer worthy of their time? So that's something we've been trying to figure out here in Wisconsin, how we can balance that out. But I agree, it's a very important avenue to discuss and see how we can kind of balance these two entities out.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you, Robert. I'm flattered. And I would absolutely love to connect with you around that. And we would love to connect with the Missouri College Dems, and really any of the College Dems is definitely somebody that we want to get plugged in with. So I'm going to drop my own YPDA email here in the chat, as well as our general info YPDA email. And anybody on the chat, I'd love to hear from you if you have somebody that you would like us to get in contact with, or even just a question, or just want to have anything to say in regard to YPDA, we would absolutely love to hear from you. And I look forward to connecting with you, Robert, and with anybody else who is interested.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. All right, we got a couple more questions in stack. We're going to go to Carrie Larson next. Carrie, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Excellent, Carrie. You have the floor.
All right. Kendall, I love what you had to say, and if I should back up a second. I'm the chair of PDA Iowa, the chapter, and we do have some young people that are coming to our Zoom meetings, college age kids. But I know that the way that we can change this state is by getting more young people involved, college age and high school age. And but I don't know how to get the high school age kids to get involved. And I was wondering if it's possible, if you would like to come to one of our PDA Iowa Zoom meetings sometime and talk with us. If that works. We meet on the second Tuesday of every month at 7 o'clock Central. And it's really nice to see that we have a lot of younger people at our meetings. Whereas you go to other things, they're all older people. Even we had a lot of people come to our No Kings Valley, but the majority of them were senior citizens. And I want to get ideas. How do we get younger people involved?
I absolutely love that idea, and thank you so much for thinking of that. And I love hearing that there are young people showing up to the Iowa chapter meeting. I've spent some time in Iowa myself. I love it. I think it has some wonderful people there, and I would be honored to join and speak to some of the young people on your call, or to everyone on the call, and see if there might be some interest, so we can start building perhaps out a YPDA chapter out of Iowa. I think that's a wonderful idea. So
that would be great.
yes,
Yeah.
feel free to email me and we can set that up, and I would love to do that.
Yeah, Carrie, if you could please email Kendall. We're gonna have to jump to Mimi quick, because I want to get through our last.
I just want to make sure, what email address do I email her?
I'll drop it in the chat one more time. All right, it's gonna be just
Thank
my
you.
name at YPDA, and then also in info at YPDA, and it'll be right here in the chat.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Carrie. And Mimi, you're going to be our last question of the day. Try to keep your question to 30 seconds or shorter. We want to wrap up here, as we're now post 4:30. But Mimi, you have been asked to unmute, and if you can hear me, Mimi.
Yes, I can, William.
Excellent.
Thanks
You have the floor.
much. Great speakers today. Sorry, I dipped out and came back because I'm a constituent of Ro Khanna, and he just had a town hall. So I'm back. So I'm sorry if I repeat any questions, but I wanted to let everybody know there's a huge mass mobilization in Washington, D.C. on November 22nd, called Remove the Regime. And it would be outstanding if you all could get involved. And William, I think you put your email in the chat. And what they want to do, they want to get as many people as possible to DC to remove the regime. Dropkick Murphys are going to perform, and many other people. So I hope we can organize buses and all kinds of things to go. So huge veteran groups. We need young people. We need everyone to show up. I'm going to try and show up from California. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and thanks for speaking today, Kendall. I enjoyed hearing your origin story, how you got involved with progressive politics. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mimi. Yes, bodies, right? 90% of solidarity is showing up. That's our advantage, is our raw numbers. We have to be able to keep utilizing that. So, all right. So Mike Olis, I don't know if you're here, or Mike Fox, if we want to cut it to you. That wraps up our YPDA presentation. Thank you so much, Kendall Lavinia, for being here. Please, if you have comments, questions, or concerns, Kendall's email is in the chat. Reach out to her. We're building something special here, and I'm so excited for you PDAers to be a part of this, because you all have meant so much to me in my development as an organizer. I'm hoping that us young people can return the favor.
Mike Olis, you want to put the bow on it?
Yeah, let's put the bow on it. I want to try to share. Thank you, everybody, for an amazing 90 minutes today. Another great town hall. PDA has been doing these town halls for 5 years. So every Sunday, rain or shine, holiday or not, football game or not, we are here talking progressive politics and bringing the country together. And so let's wrap it up. Another great Sunday town hall. We'll see you next Sunday. But I want to try. I have a video that I want to show, except for it's a little bit weirdly formatted, so I don't know how it'll show. But just listen in.
So
This is Bernie Sanders, AOC, Sarah Nelson, and about 1,000 people singing "Solidarity Forever" together last night at the Debs dinner in Terre Haute, Indiana. And it was just, so it's a little weirdly formatted because I shot it in sort of TikTok form, and it's gonna take some work to get it, So I'm just bear with me. Let's share it, and we'll call it good from there. So we'll see everybody next week or online throughout this week. Let's see if this works.
And while Mike's figuring the technology, everybody stick around for family time after we stop the recording after this attempt.
This one. Plow the prairies, build the cities where they trade.
That's Sarah Nelson, the union leader, also an amazing singer.
Endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving midst the wonders we have made. But the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. When the union's inspiration through the workers' blood shall run, there can be no power greater anywhere beneath the sun. Yet what force on earth is
AOC?
and the feeble strength of one, for the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
I'll stop it there, but that was last night, and just an amazing moment. Sorry for the wacky camera work, but that's that's the type of community we're building across America together. And walking in the in the paths that people like Eugene Debs and others have created for us. So let's enter family time. And Mike Fox, do you want to take it away?